Hi, DrBiology here, and this video is about A-level mitosis. So mitosis is where cell division occurs to produce two daughter cells that are genetically identical to parent cells. You will need to know the phases of mitosis. Whilst mitosis is a continuous phase, there are four main phases that you need to learn. So I'll be going through those in this video. So let's get started.
This video is going to now look at the different stages of mitosis, and we're going to talk about the cell cycle. But first of all, I haven't told you, what is mitosis? Well, mitosis is where a parent cell divides to produce two genetically identical daughter cells. It's needed for growth of multicellular organisms like you and I, and for repairing damaged tissue. And mitosis is part of the cell cycle, as you can see on this diagram. So the main kind of phases, the mitotic phases, are quite short in the cell cycle, and most of the time the cell isn't doing very much. It's in interphase, so it might be growing, but once it grows, it then synthesizes DNA and the organelles within the cell, and then further cell growth occurs before mitosis occurs. So the cell cycle, so it's in eukaryotic cells or cells with a nucleus. The stages of the cell cycle is divided into the two major phases. So that's interphase and the mitotic phase or mitosis. So during interphase, the cell grows and makes a copy of its DNA. And during the mitotic phase, the cell separates its DNA into two sets and divides its cytoplasm, forming two new cells. So we are going to need to know the different phases through which mitosis occurs, but you do need to remember this is a continuous cycle. So even though we're talking about different phases, it's continuously occurring, as for example shown in the video at the start of this video. So let's talk about the cell cycle. So you go through a growth phase 1, G1, then DNA replication, and then you get growth phase 2 or G2, and then you get mitosis occurring. So let's have a look at those stages in a bit more detail. So first of all, interphase. So interphase is when this is the standard condition of a cell. The DNA is starting to unravel and it replicates to double its genetic content. Organelles are also replicated and ATP content is increased. Now let's just have a look at the chromosomes first. So as you're probably already aware, we have 23 pairs of chromosomes. In different animals, the different animals, there are different numbers of chromosomes, but in humans it's 23 pairs. So let's imagine there are only two pairs. So the red is the maternal from your mother and the blue is the paternal from your father. So you can see one paternal and one maternal, and you can see two pairs. Now what happens is during interphase each chromosome replicates and it produces an exact copy of itself. So here you can see the exact copy for each of those chromosomes. Now in prophase, what occurs is this, that chromosomes condense and they get shorter and fatter. The centrioles start to move to opposite ends, so the centrioles in this case are the blue starry things, and they move to the ends of the cells, forming spindle fibers, and the nuclear envelope breaks down and the chromosome lies free in the cytoplasm. So you can see by the dotted line around the nucleus that the nuclear membrane is starting to break down. So we move to the next stage or phase, which is metaphase. So in metaphase, the chromosomes line up along the middle of the cell. They become attached to the spindle fiber by their centromere. So you can see them going to the middle. So they become attached to the spindle fiber by their centromere. And then we go to anaphase. So anaphase, you can see them all lined up on the equator of the cell. And the centromeres, they divide, separating each pair of sister chromatids. The spindles contract, pulling chromatids to the opposite poles or the ends, and the centromere by the centromere first, so you can see them being split. And then we get to the last phase, telophase. and you can see that the nuclear membrane is starting to reform around each group of the chromosomes. The chromosomes disperse into two separate bundles, and the division of the cytoplasm, which is called cytokinesis, so you can see cytokinesis occurring there, finishes pulling apart into the two daughter cells that are now genetically identical to each other, and therefore we have mitosis. So to summarize, so you have a parent cell, interphase occurs, you get DNA replication, so it doubles the number of chromosomes, and then mitosis occurs through the different PMAT phases, so prophase, metaphase, anaphase and telophase, and you get two genetically identical cells. What does that look like in reality? Well, it looks something like this. Okay, so these are photomicrographs from a light microscope. You would need to be able to know what the different phases are, so it might be worthwhile looking up some information on that, although I'm going to help you in a minute. And the way that I remember the phases is by the acronym PMAT or IPMAT, but PMAT is the mitotic phase. So you get interphase and then prophase, metaphase, anaphase and telophase. I have done a video as well with some exam questions on mitosis and also cell biology as well, so I will put that link in the text box below. Okay, so I hope you found that useful. Please do subscribe, put your alert bell reminders on, and I will see you soon.